Done.
Good evening and welcome to our Tuesday, May 1st, 2018 Piqua City Commission meeting. I'd like to call us to order and let's stand and say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Can we have our roll call, please?
Mayor Hines.
Here.
Commissioner Martin.
Here.
Commissioner Vogt.
Here.
Commissioner Lee.
Here.
Commissioner Short.
Here.
All right, and now we move to our announcements. Do we have any public announcements this evening?
Oh, yeah, just one.
Okay, if you want to step forward and to the podium, and if you could just share your name and your address, that would be great.
All right. How y'all doing today? My name is Larry E. Ely out of Trotwood, Ohio. As y'all see, I'm running for governor in the May 8th primary. I am a former exotic dancer. They found out from 1985 until 1999, I don't know how, but it's all over the media. So I'm just letting everybody know when you put my name in, I don't care how you put it in, Ely for governor, Larry Ely for governor, first black governor, that's gonna show up. And you know, I only had a 26-year career at that. And but the business of what's going on now, I ran against Kasich in 2014. I'm back for my second bid, and I plan to resurrect the middle class, small businesses. I'm gonna make sure that the Banking Association will do their part in bringing this system back together. Now, we got major problems in the inner cities. And I'm going in here single-handedly against the drug cartel and all sorts of corruption going on and child kidnapping. And I'm holding these people responsible for some of these criminal acts. We got to work together in this state for the first time as people, no matter what race you are, what color you are, what creed you, and what culture you got. No matter what your income is, if you don't have an income at all, we all getting up, we getting out, and we finna resurrect this city, this state, these counties, these townships. I'm calling for an 88 county rezoning and redistricting of the inner cities. We gonna show the rest of the world, and mainly God, that we can do it, because we just common, old, plain people. Now, if I do become the first black governor of this state, it's gonna be major changes, just in the thought process, especially of inner city children. If I can come from a 6th grade education to study in antitrust, commercial, Supreme Court law, they can go past me 10 times the amount. I plan to make a heavy statement here in all 88 counties in Washington, D.C., that we're not tolerating any rhetoric. We're gonna be a self-sufficient town, and we're gonna run as one. Anybody got any problems with that, they need to step up to the podium. But we're gonna clean this mess up. Drugs, fentanyl, heroin, whoever involved in it, I told them they better get another occupation. Now, I've been going door to door and on the street corner. Any drug dealer want to challenge me, they're going to have their hands full, because I know exactly where they spawn from and where they at and how they operate. And I told them, you better get a new occupation, because that one's coming to a close. Now, with that being said, y'all, the voting going to be May the 8th. Now, if y'all ladies over 18, I'm expecting y'all to come out and vote. Well, I had to ask that question because I'm a male exotic dancer, so I don't want them to get lightheaded and fall out, you know. Oh, here comes a stripper. I want y'all to be strong now.
Well, I think you've reminded us all, especially that we do need to get out and vote. So definitely on May 8th, we need to get out and vote.
Yeah,
that day, so.
no matter who you vote for, y'all got to be heard.
That's right. That's right.
Let this current government know that y'all ain't tolerating no more of this homelessness, no jobs, no middle class. What happened to the middle class? It's completely gone. Either you rich or you poor or you dead.
All right.
All right, y'all?
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. Okay. Any other announcements? If not, we will move. We have a few proclamations. The first one is for Municipal Clerks Week. I'd like to invite our clerk, Becky. Cool, thank you. I apologize. I have been, as you well know, a variety of things for the past few days. Becky, if you'll join me down at the podium, please. You know I know what your name is. Excellent. Well, we will stand this way so people can see you. So, whereas municipal clerk of commission is a time-honored and important part of local government, and whereas the office of municipal clerk is the oldest among public servants, and whereas the office of municipal clerk city commission provides the professional link between citizens and local governing bodies and agencies of government at other levels, and whereas municipal clerks have pledged to be ever mindful of their neutrality and impartiality, rendering equal service to all, and whereas it is appropriate that the City of Piqua recognize the accomplishments of the office of municipal clerk. Now therefore, I, Catherine B. Hines, the mayor of the City of Piqua, Ohio, do hereby recognize the week of May 6th through May 12th, 2018 as Municipal Clerks Week, and further extend appreciation to Municipal Clerk Rebecca J. Cool and Acting Municipal Clerk Kimberly J. Hebb for the services they perform and their dedication to the Piqua community. Thank you. Thank you so very much.
Want to make a speech?
And now I'd like to invite Officer Jeremy Weber to join me. As Jeremy's coming forward, I just
You're not
want to
gonna
share
make a
with people,
speech?
most of you know Jeremy was voted and selected under his friends and the other officers in the Piqua City Police Department as Officer of the Year, and we so appreciate your services. So he is going to receive this proclamation on Police Week. Whereas there are more than 900,000 law enforcement officers serving in communities across the United States, including the dedicated members of the Piqua Police Department. And whereas they have 58,627 assaults against law enforcement officers in 2016, resulting in approximately 16,677 injuries. And whereas since the first recorded death in 1791, more than 20,000 law enforcement officers in the United States have made the ultimate sacrifice and have been killed in the line of duty, including 3 members of the Piqua Police Department, Lieutenant Noah Studebaker, Patrolman Jan Mulder II, and Detective Robert Taylor. And whereas the names of these dedicated public servants are engraved on the walls of the National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial in Washington, D.C., and whereas 360 new names of fallen heroes are being added to the National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial this spring, including 129 officers killed in 2017 and 231 officers killed in the previous years. And whereas the service and sacrifice of local officers killed in the line of duty will be honored during the Miami County Law Enforcement Officers Memorial Service at noon Wednesday, May 2nd, 2018. And whereas the service and sacrifice of Ohio officers killed in the line of duty will be honored during the Ohio Peace Officers Memorial Ceremony at 11 a.m. on Thursday, May 3rd, 2018. And whereas the service and sacrifice of all officers killed in the line of duty will be honored during the National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial Fund's 30th Annual Candlelight Vigil on the evening of May 13th, 2018. And whereas the Candlelight Vigil is part of the National Police Week, which takes place this year, May 13 through May 19. And whereas May 15th is designated as Peace Officers Memorial Day in honor of all fallen officers and their families, and U.S. flags should be flown at half-staff. Now therefore be it resolved that the City of Piqua formally designates May 13th through 19th, 2018 as Police Week in the City of Piqua, Ohio, and publicly salutes the service of law enforcement officers in our community and in communities across the nation. Jeremy, thank you so much for your service.
Thank you.
And now I have a proclamation for Bike Month, so I'd like to invite all of our folks here that are dressed, and I think some of you are leaving here and going directly out to ride, so I want you all to come up here. You can join me over here on this side.
Yes, ma'am.
And you will see that we do have some representatives here from Bike Piqua, which is an advocacy group here in our community for bike safety and bike advocacy here in Piqua. This is a very, very impressive group. This is phenomenal. I'm going to stand back here because I want to look. You guys look fabulous. You only knew us. You guys look fabulous. All right. So whereas far more than a century, the bicycle has been an important part of the lives of most Americans. And whereas today millions of Americans engage in bicycling as an environmentally sound form of transportation, an excellent form of fitness, and as a quality family recreation activity. And whereas Piqua hosts events such as the Piqua Bike Challenge, Slow Rolls, the Kiwanis Bike Rodeo, and other events that promote bicycling. And whereas local and visiting bicyclists enjoy traveling U.S. Bike Route 25, also known as the Great Miami River Trail, and State Bike Route 36, also known as the Ohio to Indiana Trail, and other local trail routes to explore some of Piqua's most scenic landscape and to connect to designations within the community. And whereas these bicycling activities and attractions have great potential to have a positive impact on Piqua's economy and tourism industry, and to stimulate economic development by making the city attractive to businesses and citizens who enjoy the out of doors and healthy lifestyles. And whereas creating bicycle-friendly communities has been shown to improve citizens' health, well-being, and the quality of life, to boost community spirit, to improve traffic safety, and to reduce pollution and congestion. And whereas projects such as the US Route 36 Shared Use Path, the Commercial Street Bicycle Boulevard, the Piqua Placemaking Initiative, the Lock 9 Park improvements, and Code Piqua aim to further develop bicycling infrastructure assets that will further enhance the quality of life and the quality of place within the community. And whereas the League of American Bicyclists and independent cyclists throughout our state are promoting greater public awareness of bicycle operation and safety education in an effort to reduce accidents, injuries, and fatalities. And whereas the citizens of Piqua benefit from the availability of a complete transportation system that includes facilities dedicated to the safe and convenient movement of bicycle traffic. Now therefore be it resolved that the City of Piqua Commission hereby proclaims the month of May as Bike Month in Piqua, Ohio. I think the governor wants to say a few words.
Don't you go anywhere. Hey, all right, but move. I got to talk to my audience. On behalf of Bike Piqua and the bicycling community at large, the main reason we are all here today is to say thank you to the City of Piqua for their support of the trail, for road diets, bike lanes, overall improving the cycling environment in the city, for including a bicycle in our logo, on our trash cans, on our water tower. I can say that as representing Piqua at the regional level in Dayton once a month, we are getting a name for ourselves. And Mike and I go down every month just to make sure everybody in Dayton knows all the good things that are going on up here. There's a couple of things later on the agenda today that involve the bike trail. We'd like to encourage you to support those. For the citizens that are watching and people who are interested, we have a lot of really cool things coming up. We'll have a bike corral at the Taste of the Arts. We'll have a bike corral every day at the Chautauqua event by the Hans Pavilion. We have 4 slow rolls. Basically, that's a short event. It's not this kind of event. It's an event that you come out and bring your family. We're going to have them in 4 different neighborhoods. We're going to have our certified instructors there to make sure people's bikes are safe. They have the correct gear, and teach them a safe way to get from their neighborhood to the bike trail and back. So that is our way of giving back to the community and hopefully getting more people involved in a sport that we all love. I think the numbers are something like 51,000 people used the bike trail in our city last year, and we hope to see that increase next year. So again, really, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
I'd also like to acknowledge thanks to Mr. Jim Hemmert and Mr. Paul Sullenberger for today training 123 Piqua Catholic Elementary School kids all day long on safe training on bicycle movement through streets, safe tuning up of their bicycles. And on Monday, the same gentleman will do 630 kids at Piqua Central Intermediate School. So we're real happy to have these guys help out training these kids how to safely ride bicycles in town. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, thank you very much. And I do want to note that Jeff Lang was part of that training as well, and will also be part of the training with the Piqua City Schools. So very important training for our students, and excellent work. And go enjoy your beautiful ride on this beautiful evening. Thanks. And now we move to our consent agenda.
There are 2 items on the consent agenda tonight: the approval of the minutes from the April 17, 2018 regular City Commission meeting, and a resolution appointing Nathaniel Funderburg to the Board of Zoning Appeals for a 5-year term expiring March 1st, 2023.
I move we approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Has been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? The consent agenda passes. And now we move to new business. The first is resolution number R-68-18.
A resolution retaining the services of the Auditor of State for the 2017 annual audit of the City of Piqua.
Ms. Holtzapfel will provide the staff report.
Thank you. Annually, the City of Piqua undergoes an audit of our financial statements. For 2017, the Auditor of State will be completing the audit. The audit will start shortly and is expected to be completed on or before June 30th of 2018 at a cost not to exceed $43,050.
Great, thank you. Do we have any questions from the commission on this resolution? Any question? Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry, John.
If we hired a private firm to do this, roughly, would it be roughly the same cost?
It would be roughly the same. Mhm.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Okay. Anything else from the commission? Any questions or comments from the public on this resolution? If not, I will entertain a motion.
I move we adopt resolution R-68-18.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The resolution passes. And now we move to resolution number R-69-18.
A resolution requesting authorization to enter into a contract with Vectren Energy Delivery of Ohio for the installation of gas facilities at the 156 Robert M. Parkway Drive for the new health and sanitation facility.
Ms. Havener will provide the staff report.
Thank you. In preparation for the construction of the new health and sanitation facility on R.M. Davis Parkway, we would like to go ahead and get the gas main extended to the site. Currently, there is no gas service on R.M. Davis, which with it being an industrial tract of land, this is definitely going to be a benefit for not only our building, but for any of the facilities along there. The City of Piqua will receive funds back for anyone who decides to tie into that gas service within the next 5.5 years. So it's definitely a benefit all around. Vectren would be doing this work at not to exceed $61,250. That does include a 10% contingency just in case they come up with something along the way that's unexpected. And they will be extending this from Commerce Drive.
Great, thank you. Any questions or comments from the commission on this resolution? Any questions or comments from the public on this resolution? If not, I will entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Okay, it has been moved. Do you have a second?
Second.
All right, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? The resolution passes. And now we move to resolution number R-70-18.
A resolution authorizing the city manager to enter into an LPA Federal ODOT LET project agreement with the Ohio Department of Transportation for the Great Miami River Trail Bridge project.
Ms. Habner.
Thank you. This will allow us to program our project with ODOT for the Great Miami River Recreational Trail Project. We are doing this as an ODOT-led project, which means they will be, we hired the design and we're in charge of the design, but they will do a thorough review of this as well as bid it and provide construction administration for us. At this point, there is no cost associated with this legislation. It just allows us to program it to begin the design and construction being ODOT-led.
Great, thank you. Any questions or comments from the commission on this resolution? Any questions or comments from the public on this resolution? If not, I will entertain a motion.
I'll move to adopt Resolution R-70-18.
I'll second.
Has been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? The resolution passes. And now we move to resolution number R-71-18.
A resolution authorizing the city manager to enter into the LPA Federal ODOT-led project agreement with the Ohio Department of Transportation for the Ohio-Indiana Trail Bridge project.
Ms. Habner.
Thank you. This is a similar agreement as the previous resolution. However, this is for what we consider the Ohio to Indiana Trail Bridge, which is the bridge, the bike path bridge in Lock 9 Park. So again, we will program this to have ODOT take the lead as far as the project review and during construction. And similar with the previous legislation, there is no funds being expended at this time. It's just to program the project with ODOT.
Great, thank you. Any questions or comments from the commission on this resolution? Any questions or comments from the public? If not, I will entertain a motion.
I move we adopt Resolution R-71-18.
Second.
Has been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, the resolution passes. And now we move to resolution number R-72-18.
An emergency resolution objecting to the renewal of liquor permit number 5558350 held by Mario Investments LLC, doing business as Z's Sports Bar, 319 North Wayne Street, Piqua, Ohio.
Ms. Wall will provide the staff report.
Thank you. Every 2 years, all of the liquor permits are up for renewal at the same time in the city of Piqua. We've been notified by the Department of Commerce that this year's permits are up for renewal in June. If there are any objections that need to be filed, it is required to be postmarked by May 2nd. Thus, the resolution before you is written as an emergency, so we can meet that deadline to file with the Department of Commerce. This resolution is requesting the commission to approve an objection to the liquor license renew for Z's. That license is held by Marlowe Investments. A little while ago, we received a transfer request. I've contacted the Division of Liquor Control. That request is not for a transfer of the liquor license, it's for a transfer of ownership of Marlowe Investments. It's pending, there's no action on that right now. There is outstanding sales tax with that until the Department of Taxation resolves everything. The Department of Liquor Control will not move on that transfer. Based upon the activity that has taken place over the last 2 years, it is requested that the liquor license be objected to. Specifically, all of the bars in Piqua were looked at as to how many calls of service the police responded to.
It starts at Bing's with 3 calls since January 1 of 2016, and it goes to Z's at the highest with 221 calls. That is more than double of the next bar. So there is a huge discrepancy in the number of calls that are related to that specific facility, as well as the types and natures of the calls that cause concern for this liquor permit to be renewed. Therefore, again, due to the timeline as well, it's requested that the Division of Liquor Control be notified by this commission of its objection.
Great. Thank you. Any questions or comments from the commission on this resolution?
Yeah, I have one.
I've got one. As an objection, that doesn't necessarily stop them. It just says that we as a city say we object to them having it.
Correct. So procedurally, the Division of Liquor Control would set a hearing date, and evidence would be heard. It's ultimately the Division of Liquor Control's decision, but the city has the right to file an objection.
You know, I feel we have a new owner there. I must say, I frequent that place several nights a week. And I've never seen anything out of the way. He's trying real hard to get the job done. I feel that this is really to the extreme. You know, I was on the police department in this town many years ago when we had 13 bars on Main Street. And we curtailed the problems in the bars at that period of time by having a walking officer. We walked the beat. The 11 to 7 crew would have a man in the bars, every one of them in and out, until 3 in the morning. We did that, and we had very little problems. I don't know when they stopped doing that or why they stopped doing that. Maybe I'm old school, but it worked. And yeah, we had some construction. They was building the highway out here. They was building the bridge across the river, and there were some rough crews there. And we got by. We never asked to have anybody's license curtailed or just failed to renew. I think we'll look at this long and hard before we do something like that, especially since we have a new owner there that is trying to get it started, and I'm sure he's trying to do a good job. Could have some meetings with the chief or whatever to see what he could do to make it better. I don't know. That's my opinion.
I could respond to that. Technically, there is not a new owner. The transfer has not been approved. The liquor license is in the original name. And in order to protect the city's interests, the objection has to be filed now, or you pass that opportunity and deadline. If later on the transfer is granted, the city doesn't see a need to, continue with the objection, we could meet with the parties, we could withdraw that objection. But procedurally, if you don't do it tonight, you miss that opportunity. And again, it's a 2-year period before you would object again.
City Manager, can you address whether or not officers are stopping in there? Do you know, or can you ask the chief?
I'd have to call on the chief.
Can you do that, please?
Yes, we're in there. We're in there pretty regular, and but we can't police things the same way we did in the 60s, Mr. Vogt. So it is a different. We're stopping in and watching for violations, but there's a lot of due process that goes into trying to actually change behavior that has also changed over the last 40 years. But we don't have a walking patrol per se, but they do walk through.
It's not anything different than when I was on 2 years ago, right?
Same thing.
Same thing, okay.
You know, back in the day, when we had the walking beat, it wasn't so much looking for violations or bad guys. It was talking to the people, showing them that we were on your side. We're not here to throw you in jail. We're here to work with you. Made a lot of friends, got a lot of good information on things that was going on around town at that time, and that's just my feeling on it.
All right.
Has the city tried to talk to the owner about having the owner supply security, video cameras, or whatever to try and curtail all of the issues?
We've had multiple contacts through police cases, and there's not been cooperation. Even as of last Wednesday, I believe, the police were called for someone with a gun in the bar. Then the manager or owner comes out saying it's all a misunderstanding. We don't want anything done. You need, just go. The guy can stay in the bar. We assumed he had a gun, but now we don't know, that kind of thing. The cases we've had recently, the video cameras aren't working. We have to follow up for video. We don't get it. There are many issues.
So in other words, they're not being cooperative to try and resolve any of the issues?
On the prosecution side, I have not seen that.
Okay.
Anything else from the commission?
All right, do we have any public comment on this resolution? If you would come to the podium, please, and if you could say your name and your address.
All right, my name is Don Winters, 319 North Wayne Street, and even though the transfer for the liquor license isn't complete, I own Marlowe Investments. And first, just because I heard Law Director Wall there was a situation where someone said that someone had a gun. So I did talk to the police officer, and he asked me specifically, did anybody see the gun, or was it just hearsay? And I asked my security guard that was there with me, did anybody see the gun? I was also in the bar at the time, and I did not see anything. So I just told the police officer, honestly what he asked, that yes, nobody has seen any gun whatsoever. So then he left, where I just answered him honestly, didn't try to add any of the extra, no, we don't want any problems. He just asked me specifically, did anybody see a gun or was it hearsay? And then I told him I did not, and I asked my security guard that was there with me, and he did not as well. And when it comes to cooperation, I know at times, yeah, our camera systems haven't been great. It's not the best system, and I don't have the most reliable IT guy, but I've tried. I have added cameras to the second level of Z's before. I've even had a police officer come up to the second level once I installed the cameras just to ask for advice on where the placement and what he thought of them in regards to what could help if there was an incident. So I did even bring police in when I installed cameras on the second level of that. And sorry, I had other things I wanted to say, but that kind of distracted me from last Wednesday. And any time that a police officer has ever came up, which I've talked to Officer Weber before, which it looks like he's not here, but I offer full compliance or anything that they need that, you know, I never hassle them, whatever. Anything that they want, even I have gone out as far as even if you're looking for somebody and you want to call me and know if they're in the bar that I am willing to do that. Anything that I can give to help. And I do have to comment that I have owned Marlowe Investments for 5 months, so I know you're basing everything on 2 years. But as somebody that's in Z's every single day, well, I would say between 95 and 98% of the time. My sister did get married a few months ago, but that was the last time, a day we were open. I wasn't in there back in February. But as someone in there that's every night, I've seen a huge difference in the last 6 months. So I know you're basing everything off 2 years, but I know if you look at the last 6 months, it's a lot lower than the 6 months before that, or the 6 months before that, and the 6 months before that. And I feel that 2 years brings in a lot of time on previous owners that were pretty much absent owners, not in the bar, that let it be run by the employees in the bar. So it was kind of a free-for-all for everything at that point in time. But that is why I'm there every single night, to just keep an eye on things. That's why when the police officer came on Wednesday, I was there to specifically talk to him and answer his question honestly, that no, nobody had seen a gun. I've been in there. I've been the owner of Marlowe Investments since November 3rd, but I've been associated since January 3rd of last year, and I've been in there pretty much every day, and not one time have I seen a knife or gun. Is it saying there's never been one in there? No, I can't say that, but I can say honestly, I've never seen a knife or a gun in the entirety that I owned Z's. And that was my comment, just pretty much based on that.
Thank you. Do we have any other comments from the public?
My name's Holly Osborne, and I have to say, I don't frequent bars very often, but I do go to Z's, and it is like a family. Everybody is always welcoming. I have never been in there when there has been a fight, when there has been a problem. And like Mr. Vogt said, why can't you guys work with him? There are bars in Vandalia and in Piqua who have an officer that stops in, like he said, just to make their presence known. It's not looking for anybody. It's not like trying, like just to maybe go in there and get to know the customers, and that has cut down on problems at other bars. So like my question to you is, are you guys not willing to work with him at all to make a place that is in Piqua where they have regular customers who the people at that bar might be their only family? There is a guy that goes in there, and there are customers that take him to do daily things that he can't do, and that's his only family. Like, why are you so dead set against like helping? And you just want to pull their liquor license? Why? Can I ask you why?
First of all, it's not my decision, it's the commission's. Second of all, it's the law that there's a procedural process, and if the objection's not filed, we lose that opportunity.
Right.
It has to be filed in order to preserve the city's interest, and then once it's filed, if we feel the need or have the ability to work with the owner, we can. The evidence I have seen does not really lend to that situation at this point.
Have you been to Z's to see everything that he has done in even the last year? Like, he has remodeled the 3rd floor, he has remodeled the 2nd floor. He is trying to make it into something that can be great for Piqua. How many of you have actually been into Z's in the last year to see what he is trying to do? Or what, like, friends and family and people that work there are trying to do? It could be a really great place for Piqua, a place to meet. How many of you have been in there in the last year? Like, none of you? Do you think maybe you should check it out to see what like
I'm
he's
there all the
doing?
time.
Right, like you're there. But have any of the rest of you been in there to see what like the new owner is trying to do? Of course not.
Bradley Beringer, Mount Street. I just have one question for this commission. And Bill, I've never agreed with you on anything, but I've agreed with you on what you said tonight.
I might change my mind now.
Feel free to, Bill. It's okay. Are you willing to deal with the problem when it moves to another bar? Because I can guarantee you that if you shut this bar down, if you pull its liquor permit, it's just going to go elsewhere. We had a bar next to one that I frequent, which is now closed. Chris, you know it. Illusions. Fights would break out in there all the time.
Crazy.
But they'd end up in the parking lot next to Lucky's. Does Illusions get penalized? No. Lucky's does, because it ended up in the parking lot next to them. The system, as I see it, is broken, and it needs fixed. You're penalizing this gentleman based on something that past owners have done. 2 years is a long time. And if he's only owned the bar 6 months, I'd say let's work with him. So I guess what I'm saying is, let's table this, work with him, and then, if it doesn't shape up, see if there's another way you can file an emergency objection outside of the 2-year limit. That's all I've got.
Thank you.
Good evening. Brad Clement, Stockbridge, Georgia, a little outside the corporated limits of the city of Piqua. I wouldn't have come here tonight, except when I returned to town, I happened to see Z's in the Piqua Daily News Bulletin on Sunday. And Ms. Wall, your comment with regard to emergency and timeliness of this effort, I can appreciate. But it cannot be an emergency for this meeting, for this first hearing this evening, if what you're pulling on is 2 years' worth of data. You've had at least 2 years
Let me
to look
stop
at
you a
that.
minute. It's not an emergency for that reason. It only gets one reading. The emergency is the effective date of publication.
I understand. And the minutes were published on Thursday, the 26th. It aired in the Piqua newspaper on Sunday. Notice, maybe you have met your notice requirement, but it is brought before this commission, this body, as an emergency.
Correct, but again.
And that emergency was triggered by 2 years' worth of data. Is that correct?
No, no. It's a charter requirement. So the emergency, what's before the commission is a resolution that only receives one reading ever. So it's not waiving any readings. The charter says that once it's adopted, there's a 10-day publication period. So it allows, the emergency allows the resolution to go to the Division of Liquor Control immediately.
Postmark tomorrow.
Correct.
Okay, then I would stand as a 42-year Piqua. I still consider myself as such, even though I've lived around the world and outside of the city for a long time, to either table this or vote no. Thank you.
Yeah, come on.
My name is Noah. I live here in Piqua, Ohio on 226 Manning Street. I have been frequenting Z's since I became of age. This is the first owner that I have ever truly been able to call a friend to my community as part of the LGBT community of Piqua, Ohio. Z's has been the first bar that I have ever truly felt I am welcome, accepted, and can be proud of who I am. I have not seen, in the time that he has owned Z's, I have not seen such a drastic improvement before in any other place I have ever been to. He has fought and tried to turn it into some place he can be proud of at the end of the day, as well as people in my community, people that go there as a whole, can be proud to say, Z's is my home. Does that make sense? I'm begging this commission as a whole to truly look at all the people that would be affected by losing such a place for us to call our home away from home, that we can feel we can go there and socialize and have meetings, birthday parties, family dinners. They have spaces to rent for corporate dinners, you know, things of that nature. It's a really viable place to have things like that if it's given the chance. And in the time that he has owned, he has fought hard to make it be that place. The timelines might be messed up, but I'm urging this commission as a whole to really look on that and give him the ample time to show that improvement on greater numbers than in the 2-year span that has been brought up many times through this commission meeting. I'm just urging you guys and women to really look on that and hope that there's some sense of understanding with that. That's all I could think to say right now.
Thank you.
Okay.
Hello, my name is Artist Love. I stay here in Piqua, Ohio. A lot of the things I wanted to say has already been said, but I do like to add that I've been volunteering at Z's for a while, and at one point in time, we only had one security guard, and now since Don's been in here, he's added 4 to 5 security guards for the safety of the people and the cameras, of which we said. Also, in the summertime, he offered his second floor to the kids that wasn't of age for them to have somewhere to come for the summer. And we had strict security in there, had it locked off, and he had the kids safe. It was something to get them off the street, so I want to thank him for that too, because the kids call me Uncle Art, and they appreciated that. I just think that the panel up here should give Don a chance and work with him, because he has really made a difference since I first been with Z's. So, thank you.
Okay, I have a question. How long have you been basically running Z's?
I've been running Z since January 3rd of 2017. I've owned it since November 3rd of 2017.
Okay, is there any way we can get the information relative that bar to all the other bars in the same time period? To see what it is since he's been owner?
I already have it. From January 1 of 17, there are at least 3 pages of calls, and there's 53 calls on a page for Z's. That's from the date he just gave. And Bing's has 2 calls. 311 has maybe 20. Okay, I'm not debating this.
2017, so the January of 2017 doesn't apply to him. So it's from November 2017. So how many calls did you have in November of 2017?
All right, anything else?
No, this is not an evidentiary hearing. I'm not debating with you.
He asked and you answered for him.
You're out of order. The issue is, from the time period given where he's been the manager and operating it, there have been 3 pages of calls, 53 calls a page. No other bar even can compare.
I guess my question, again, is that from the time, if we pass this, they don't lose their license automatically. It goes for a review. Am I correct?
Correct.
All right. And if they make changes or state a plan or meet with requirements, sit down and talk with people, and we see that there's no objection at that point, we don't have to go to the hearing that's set at some point and object. Am I correct?
Correct.
Okay.
And that hearing is in June?
The liquor license are due in June, so the Division of Liquor Control will set a hearing May, June, July, August timeframe.
So feasibly, if we were to object and they were to clean things up between now and then, depending on what, I'm basically asking the same thing.
Same thing
you
I'm
asked-
asking,
you asked,
exactly.
okay.
Or have a plan, you know? Have you guys worked with the police department?
Every time that they've stopped out, I've tried to talk with them. But I do have a quick question since you asked me something.
Will you come to the podium, please? I'm sorry. That way, because we're videotaping this for the
Yes,
television.
I have tried to work with them. Any officer that has came to the bar, like I said, I'm there every single night, so I've offered full cooperation on anything I can do for them while they were there. But my question is, once it is voted on, if it does go to the state, isn't it all in their hands at that point and that you guys have no control?
No.
No? So if you send this to the state, which June is not far away, and then you will still get an option which you can recline your suggestion that they do not uphold my...
If the city withdraws its
we
objection,
withdraw.
there's nothing for them to consider, but
It's just the timeline with June 1st is when my old liquor license expires, and with the renewal of the other one, we're talking about only 3 weeks away.
it's state statute. We have nothing to do with the timeline. We received a letter. It gives us a deadline of May 2nd to file, and the renewals are in June, and it's for the entire city. I mean,
Okay, now, like, I was just asking questions, just because when I did research, it seemed like once you guys voted on it, it went to the state, and then it's completely up to them at that point. That's just what I thought from when I read it, so I just wanted to ask that question. That I thought once you guys voted on it, it's in the state's hands, and you guys have already issued it, so at that point, it's in their hands, and that you wouldn't have the opportunity to talk or discuss it again if anything did improve in the next 3 weeks, is the only reason why I asked that.
the treasurer's office trumps the city, and they have an objection over us right now.
They have an objection to it already.
They will not approve the transfer at this time because there's outstanding sales tax.
But yes, I do have a sales tax and old ones I have to get paid this month before I process my own.
I'm sorry, I apologize. This is on TV for citizens and also just for people to
Okay,
hear.
yes,
I
there
apologize.
were some old state taxes, sales tax that I have to get paid in the next couple of weeks before that I could reapply. So yes, that is out there and something that I'm working on currently.
Okay.
I got a question. Have you met with the police besides when officers have come there to?
I guess that's what I was wanting.
To, for a problem? Have you ever called Bruce and said, hey, we've been having these issues?
Or at
Can
least
you
I
figure out a way to stop that?
Specifically, even with Officer Weber here tonight, in the middle of, I believe it was June or July, the middle of summer last year, 2 bars closed in Troy, the brewery and the tavern, in which time after that I had I had more incidents than before, so I reached out to Officer Weber and even called him on a personal line when he wasn't there, just to discuss with him other options I could do to curtail the problems we were having at that time. So I have reached out to an officer when they weren't there, just dealing with problems.
Are you willing to meet with the chief now, though?
Yes, I'm willing to meet with the chief anytime. And like I said, I felt like, of course, the 2-year numbers don't show it, but I felt like the last 6 months, we've really made some good improvements. And I know it might not be Bing's, but if it's based upon the 6 months before that or the 6 months before that, I feel like we definitely moved in the right direction over the last 6 months. We've done different things like up security. I've adjusted the type of music we play. I've filtered the jukeboxes. Security has been banning individuals that have been people that have caused problems. So we've done some of that, really a lot of that in the last 6 months to curtail the problems that we were having, which in my era that is worse somewhere around June and July and summertime when the bars in Troy closed, because then we had an influx of new customers from out of town that weren't originally here. So that was when I called Officer Weber, because I did want advice on how I could curtail this to get this back to, operating better.
Okay, all right.
Obviously, you can understand the concerns we would have with the number of calls for any of the numbers that we have. And I think the conversation of, having a conversation, coming down here or inviting the chief of police to come and speak to you and just have some long conversations about how to address these things on a long-term basis. Definitely, I'm sure that Chief Jameson would be more than welcome to sit down with you to do that and to take care of, some of those issues and just to have the communication and the conversations.
Yeah, I would be more than willing to do that.
Okay,
Even on a regular basis if you wanted.
great. Thank you.
I would note outside the police issues, there have been other issues involving Public Works. They've had to be there almost every Monday after the weekends to clean the parking lot around the building, the sidewalks. There's been multiple issues.
And I will say that I've had business owners that share that parking lot who've complained to me about the mess in the parking lot too. So I have had those calls as well.
Okay, so I have a question. If he comes, meets with the chief, and we see a good faith effort then that he is going to rectify the problems or they're going to work on them, the city can pull its objection to the permit, but we can't do anything about the objection from the state.
For the treasury.
The treasury.
He's got to take care of that right.
Okay, so,
I would notify the Division of Liquor Control that the city no longer wanted to proceed if that's the decision made. But you can't do anything unless you meet this filing
right,
deadline.
exactly. Okay, so, all right.
I'm good.
You good? So what are we going to do?
Motion.
You're going to make a motion? Okay, do we have a motion?
Second.
Oh, I didn't make the motion.
Oh, I
can't
thought
make-
Chris did.
No.
Make
I'm asking a question. Do we have a motion?
Also moved.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, it has been moved and seconded. I need a roll call, please.
Mayor Hines,
Aye.
Commissioner Martin,
Aye.
Commissioner Lee,
Aye.
Commissioner Vogt,
Nay.
Commissioner Short.
Aye.
Okay, the resolution passes. I think you have also heard some of the conversations that we've had about the possible changes, and so we do encourage you to talk to Chief Jameson about that, okay? All right, and now we move to resolution number R-73-18.
A resolution authorizing participation in the Ohio Department of Transportation Cooperative Purchasing Program.
Mr. Harder couldn't be here tonight, but this resolution actually allows us to participate in any bidding and contracts that ODOT would have where we could utilize their contracts for services or materials. For instance, buying guardrail or guardrail installation or crack sealing or anything like that. So this simply allows us to utilize them much like we do the state contract, but it does require the resolution from the city to be able to, for ODOT to accept us onto that program.
Can we pick and choose how we use this?
Oh, yeah, yeah. You don't have to use it at all, but
I mean, can we use, like, if they have a thing for guardrails and installation, if we just want to get the guardrail, can we
yes,
just get?
yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's any materials or services that they would contract out, yeah.
Okay, all right.
All right, any other questions? Any questions or comments from the public on this resolution? If not, I will entertain a motion.
I move with second.
Has been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, the resolution passes. And now we move to the public comment portion of our meeting. Do we have any public comment this evening? If not, we will, we do? Oh, I apologize, Brad.
Okay,
I
I was
thought
out
you
in
were
the hall.
sitting down.
Yeah, no, I was out in the hallway. Bradley Beringer, Mound Street again. Just wanted to say that I had a chance to participate this past Saturday in the annual cleanup of downtown Piqua with Lorna. It was Lorna Swisher, myself, Mike Gutman, Cecilia Stoller, and Kathy Oda. And I had the chance to go up and down Wayne Street and pick up trash. And actually, at Wayne and Main, I did both streets, both sides. There was something that bothered me, and that is the number of cigarette butts I found in our flower planters. I mean, come on, people. It ain't rocket science, as Commissioner Martin likes to say. Sorry, I'm going to use that phrase.
Okay, that's fine.
If you're going to smoke, take your butts back in, take your cigarette butts, in addition to your human rear ends, back inside and throw them away. It doesn't look good. And secondly, I have a question I'd like to ask our law director about calls for service. What constitutes a call for service when it comes to a bar?
This is public comments.
Well, I'm asking the question, Stacy, and I'd like
I was going to say, Brad, this really isn't appropriate at this point. So.
Well, I think it is, because I think there's a discrepancy on what, because the question was asked from November to now. How many calls for service were there? He managed the bar in January. He owned it in November.
This is public comment.
Well, and
so-
I have the right to make the public comment.
Yeah, and so you can ask the question, but we'll need to move on, so.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. All right, we move to the city manager's report.
Thank you. Just a reminder that we have a photo op on Thursday at Moat Park at 3:30 p.m. for the Miami Valley Regional Planning Commission's annual report. They want a picture of us from our project we had this past year. Dress is business casual. If you'd like to come and be in the picture, but I kind of need to know tonight who, I know I've got you, who will be there. Bill will be there. And this will be right on Garnsey, that far west section that runs up into the park there behind the, I guess, the first baseline. So if you can be right in that parking area there. Anybody else? Can
I'll be
give-
there.
Okay.
This is Moat,
I have to
right?
bring my bike.
Moat, okay, gotcha. Your bike?
You can get there however you want. I mean, however you want.
All right, I'll
That'd
be
a
there,
bad
Gary.
sight, I'm just telling you.
Excellent.
Okay, very good. Okay, that's at 3:30, and right there in Garnsey, in that west section across the street there. The only other thing I'll mention is what was referred to earlier. We did have a very successful Piqua cleanup day this past Saturday, and we had 115 volunteers, and they collected over 600 pounds of trash and debris from trails and the downtown and parks and along the street. So we very much appreciate that, and it is growing each year, and it's very effective on that. So we do appreciate all those volunteers that came out for the day. So that's all I have.
Great, thank you. Commissioner Vogt.
Okay. Here it is, grass mowing time.
Yeah.
Don't blow it in the streets. I saw some really bad cases of that Saturday. Grass out in the streets. It clogs up the sewers and it could cause a wreck. I hope we don't have to get an ordinance banning that. I'd like to see it get done on their own, see people use their head and don't be so, I'm gonna say it, stupid. And it's not right. It's not right that the city has to put up with this. And gee whiz, we try to, the Public Works works themselves to death with no more people than they have down there. We don't need to have the grass in the streets also. Then on another note, a couple years ago, everybody just calling me and complaining, calling the other commissioners and complaining about the tennis courts. The tennis courts are horrible. The fence around the tennis courts are horrible.
Where?
We redid the tennis courts up at Moat Park, or Pittsburgher Park, I'm sorry. They are nice surface, new nets and everything. They did that last year, and I haven't seen anybody play there. So all you people that like to complain, are you just complaining to be complaining? Or do you really have intentions of playing someday? We got the courts up there at Pittsburgher redone. We have the pickleball courts at Moat Park. When they first come out, they got some use. I don't see anybody there anymore. For some reason, the city works real hard answering complaints, trying to make things available for the citizens to have recreation. And I think all they're wanting to do is stir the pot. They don't want nothing. They're not going to use it. They just want to see us do something. They want to see us spend money and leave it just go without being used. If it's not going to be used, I don't see any reason to spend the money. So let's use these facilities and step up to it and take good care of them if you do use them. They are really nice. So that's all I have to say.
Thank you. Commissioner Martin?
Nothing tonight.
Great, thank you. Commissioner Lee?
I don't have much. I just, I'm glad to see Commissioner Short back, and he's got my condolences and the condolences of the commission, I'm sure, for the passing of his father. I like seeing people come out and participate in the process tonight, and opinions may have been strong, and I certainly heard a lot. I had a lot of phone calls myself, but in the end, everybody's a part of it. We make the decisions that we feel are best for the citizens and for the city. And with that said, I've got nothing else.
Great, thank you. Commissioner Short?
Just a couple things. One, it was already brought up earlier about the police memorial tomorrow at the courthouse. It starts at noon between the old courthouse and the safety building, so I really encourage people to come out for that. I also like to throw my congrats out to Jeremy Weber. I had the opportunity to work with him for several years. He's a really good officer. And on a personal note, I want to thank the city and the staff for their support for the loss of my father, so thank you. That's it.
Yep.
Thank you.
Just have a few things that I want to mention. Obviously, we are moving towards summer weather, and these are the more active months of our city. So I want to encourage our citizens to keep your eyes open for bicycles and motorcycles on our highway, because people are out and enjoying the beautiful weather. Also, our runners, and just getting, encouraging people to get out, get active. We have a beautiful trail system here in our community. So get out, use your feet, use your bike, whatever, and just get out and enjoy the beautiful weather that we have. A reminder that Taste of the Arts is May 11th in downtown Piqua. Also, finally, many of you know that we have been working on a music video, and I am thankfully able to say that the weather has been beautiful the past 2 days, and many of you know we have been filming all over the community. I cannot tell you how proud I am of our city, and how proud I am of the number of individuals that we have called out to be part of this video, from the elite tribute squad to children with the police officers in the park today playing kickball with a cop, to the parade scene with a high school football player, marching band, cheerleaders, etc. on Main Street yesterday. It truly is beautiful, and we are so excited to bring it all together. And we will be premiering our music video at July 4th Festival, obviously on July 4th. So thank you to all of you who have been involved. You know who you are, and we so very appreciate it. And that is all I have. So I will take a motion to adjourn.
So make a motion.
All right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned.